Hello everyone. Today we are here with Mr. Amar More, President and CEO Kale Info Solutions. Hi sir, how are you?
I'm good, like very nice. Thank you so much for the invitation to
Sir,
speak to you.
before proceeding further, could you tell us a little bit about yourself and about the company?
I'm Amar Mure. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Kali Logistics. We are a technology company, and we are the global leaders in providing cargo community systems, whether it is for airports, for maritime port, or for land port. We have got about 150 plus air cargo stations using our technology and about 60 plus ports, all across 46 countries. And our own team is spread across, 14 countries in the world. Beyond being the CEO of Kale, I also head the cross-border management domain. I'm the domain coordinator for cross-border management domain at the United Nations CFAC, and I'm one of the board members of the International Air Cargo Association, TIACA here.
Regular heads your head. So, Kale serves as a digital trade and logistics platform provider with broad global reach. Given your exposure across ports, airports, freight forwarders, and customs, what would you say are the top three cyber security threats you face today, and why?
So obviously, because trade is such a critical element, in the global economy, anyone who is involved in trade, will be open to cyber security threat, like big banks or other entities. And I do believe that the hackers are usually one step ahead of the technology providers. But having said that, what we do, I read some statistics somewhere that 90% of the hacking attacks they originate in the mailbox of team members. So they just come as attachments which you
They click
open, and then that's it. That's the entry into the network, and we have this approach called cyber security by community. So what we develop is we develop the community systems, right? So let's say if there is an individual small trucking company, freight forwarding company, they will always have limited, infrastructure to support their IT, and more sort of prone to cybersecurity attacks. But in current ecosystem today, they connect to the airlines, airports, ports. So they could also act as conduits to direct,
Right.
those viruses elsewhere. So I think having a layer in between, which is the cargo community system, which is a common platform for airport and port, it has got 7 layers of security, and plus, most of these clouds are supported by very large companies like Microsoft. We use Azure, and these are the same systems that are used by U.S. Customs and Border Protection, large banks, etc. So having a community system layer in between just sort of gives that additional protection to the large entities in terms of cyber security or cyber attacks.
So, with data central to Kale's platforms, how do you protect data in transit and at rest across multiple stakeholders like airlines, terminals, and freight forwarders?
This is a great question, right? So we have, as I said, I mean, our system also has this philosophy of 7 layers of security. So right from the presentation layer, transport layer, network layer, data layer, we have physical layer, the different layers of security, right? But beyond that, you need to protect data at rest as well as in motion, and for that we use obviously we encrypt the data when the data is moving. So even if somebody is able to get to the data to decode what the data is, it will be a tough ask. And same when the data is at rest, right? We do protect it in an encrypted fashion.
Cyber criminals increasingly target ecosystem platforms that serve as a hub. How do you ensure that a breach in one participant system does not cascade
Yeah.
or
Right.
not compromise the broader Kali community?
No, absolutely, absolutely. And that's where we have, two, 3 layers, as I said. We have our own team that is monitoring the health of the infrastructure. So if they see that, there is ping to our servers from, unknown places, there are proactive measures taken to make sure that this is not an attack, and if this is attack, we have the protection in place where we can isolate or just blacklist that IP address which is trying to ping. So we do have a security team that monitors this. Plus, this is in addition to the cyber security infrastructure that is provided by world leading cloud providers like Microsoft Azure or AWS. So those are the methods. But within Kale, because not it's not just the stakeholder platforms that are at risk, but we could get a cyber attack as well, right? And the most important thing to prevent the damage from cyber attack is obviously education. So you have to start education, because if 90% of the cyber attacks originate at that level, in the desktop or mailboxes, then you need to educate, so you address the bulk of the issue that is pertaining to cyber security. So we do conduct regular trainings around cyber security within our company. And we do sort of talk about cyber security to our customers in public forums, so that controllable causes of cyber threats are addressed. And what we also have is cyber liability insurances. So God forbid still something happens, and yes, and I need to talk to you about one more thing. So our community systems always have disaster recovery sites. So if one instance goes down, succumbs to cybersecurity, we always have something else in a different geography which switches over, so our customers don't suffer.
So, how does Kale ensure secure cloud infrastructure for its SaaS logistic platform, including multi-tenant isolation and zero trust access?
Absolutely. And although our platform has the multi-tenant capability, in a lot of instances, we still have to, because there are data laws in the country, and you have to keep the data in that country, because we're talking about trade platforms, right? So the implementation, although we have the capability, the implementation may not be multi-tenanted, which means that we will have to, for one country or one airport, we'll have to create an instance in the cloud at that location. So the problem is less complicated for us than in a multi-tenant environment. But in a typical multi-tenant environment, obviously, we regularly test our systems for vulnerability assessment. We test our system to make sure that, the data of one party is not sort of, or one tenant is not getting into other. So that's the inherent strength of our architecture, and that's how we ensure that the trust is sort of restored, or is pinned into the application.
Okay. So, many logistic platforms handle regulated and sensitive data. What are the major compliance, regulatory, or certification standards that Kale adheres to, and how do you operationalize those in distributed network?
So some of the standards, obviously, you have this, ISO 27000, then you have SOC 2 compliance, and then you have a certain frequency of, vulnerability assessments, etc. So all those boxes that need to be ticked, as a community system provider, we need to tick those boxes. So those are some of the mechanisms and certifications, that we already have in place.
So, like, did you face any such challenges related to data theft, or and how
No,
would
no,
you?
no, not yet, not yet, not yet.
So, threats evolve rapidly. Like, for example, advanced AI-driven phishing, supply chain malware, API abuse. How does Kale build threat intelligence, continuous monitoring, and incident response capabilities into your platform?
So as I said, we have a infrastructure health monitoring team that is constantly monitoring the health of our servers, the response times, identifying the threats proactively, identifying, as I said, the pings from unknown IP addresses,
Right.
etc. And we have procedures in place, to address, which is to isolate, or in some cases just to blacklist, some of the IP addresses or the places from where the threats are originating. And then we also sort of make sure that if the threat is beyond the protection mechanisms that are in place, then in that case we switch over to alternate infrastructure that we have for our community.
So, for the clients in the Middle East, Asia Pacific, or other regions with different cyber maturity levels, what are the biggest challenges you see, and how do you support them in raising their cyber risk?
So I think beyond the technology solutions that we all have for guarding against cyber attacks, I think it is very important to understand that most cyber attacks or most threats are prevented by education. So constantly educating our own team, our own customers, to make sure that the basic do's and don'ts. So if you receive an email from an unknown email ID, just don't, or if you receive an email which looks like a known email ID, but you were not expecting it. So it's best to double click that email ID and see, whether it's a real email ID or it's just a masked one. So educating people on this is something, that ensures that these kind of risks are mitigated.
So, looking ahead, what major cybersecurity trends or threats do you foresee for the next 3 to 5 years? How is Kale strategically preparing its platform, partnerships, and services to stay ahead of those threats?
So first and foremost, we also have a chief cybersecurity officer, whom we have onboarded, and he's taking an inventory of all the applications, all the security mechanisms, looking at if there are some gaps in some of those applications, etc., and then having a roadmap. To address those gaps. So that's something which is a big step, because chief cybersecurity position never existed, before. But looking at the risk profile and the things that could emerge in future, I think this is an important role. We also discuss cybersecurity at the very top level, and we have some KPIs or some deliverables that we have set to ensure that there are compliances, especially security related compliances. We have very frequent security audits that happen, and as I said, we have done all these certifications which also require us to prove our compliances. So these are some of the things that we are doing to make sure that the future is more safe and secure for us and our customers.
Right, I think that is all. Thank you so much for
Thank you so much. Like, it was a pleasure talking to you.